For assembly of the frame, I've moved out of the workshop because I don't want any sawdust to get inside it when it's being put together. So first I'm going to peel the backing off the plexiglass. I've got the corner marked that lines up with the corner of the frame, and because that's on the paper and it's going to get peeled off, I've also marked the edge of the plastic. I'm just going to take it off in halves so it doesn't take as much force. We don't want any smudges at all on the plexiglass, especially inside, because once assembled we wouldn't be able to clean it. Slightly damp, and I'll just wipe it. I'm not applying pressure because if there's any dust on the plexiglass, I don't want to scratch it. Now we can do a visual inspection and look for any smudges or spots. It looks good. So now I'm going to set the plexiglass into the frame. The special corner of the frame is marked. And I'll line that up with the dark spot on the edge of the plexiglass. So there's only one way this can go in, and it's the way it was fitted when we were trimming the plexiglass. The next step is the spacers, and they were marked with letters. The spacers are held tight in the corners by the other spacers, but there's always a risk that they'll move away from the frame in the middle. So I put a drop of glue in there. I put a tiny drop of glue because if the plexiglass ever has to be replaced, we want it to be easy to snap undone. Then I'll clamp those in place with a piece of the backing of the linen tape. That backing stops the clamps from marking the wood. So I'm squeezing this and also pushing down because I want to trap the plexiglass in there and not have a space. Continue doing that on all four edges. If there's any glue squeeze out, now is the time to get rid of it. Now that the glue is dry, I can remove the clamps. If I hadn't used this paper, the plastic of the clamps would have made a slight mark on the finish there. Okay, so now we're ready to put the mat with the artwork into the frame. But just before I do that, I'm going to give one final gentle wipe to the inside surface of the plexiglass, because while it's been sitting, a small amount of dust will have fallen from the air, and I don't want any dust inside. Very slightly damp cloth. Then I'll place the artwork on the mat inside the frame, making sure that the star on the corner of the mat lines up with the star in the frame. Then I apply the backboard, again with the star in the star corner. Prior to placing this in, I wiped both sides and all edges with a damp cloth. Now I can apply the staples. A key is to press down, so I'm sandwiching the plexiglass, the spacers, the mat board, and the backboard, and keep it towards the frame. If the staple goes in too deep or not deep enough, you can adjust the tension here. I'm only going to put in 4 staples for now, and then I'm going to do a visual check to make sure everything is correct. There's nothing worse than getting it all stapled together and then finding a speck of dirt inside. And in fact, I do see a speck right here. So I'm going to pop that open and get that speck out. I'm also looking for any smudges that would be on the inside of the glass. And I'm checking to make sure that the orientation is correct, with this being the top, lining up with the holes for the hanger wire. Not sure how that speck of dirt got in there, but at least I only have to remove 4 staples to remove it. looking for any particles of dirt, dust, smudges. Can't see anything, so it looks good. I put the staples about every 5 or 6 inches, as well as in the corners. This is the best stapler you can get. It's a Fletcher Multimaster. Worth the investment. Fletcher makes 2 kinds of staples, a double point and a single point. The double point, shown here, is stiffer and more suited to hardwoods. And of course you have to buy the right staple gun to go with the type of points. And we attach the wire that was made earlier. Tight but allowing some movement. And check, it looks good.